Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? So, the incarnates are taking over the war one step at a time. Uh, I was not expecting this show to go into this war so quickly, but at the same time, I'm happy it did because as of now, we've seen quite a bit of this show in general and just what it brings to the table, and with it going as far as like, showing us a reason for every single person, why they kind of turn into incarnates or how they kind of turn into incarnates. Whatever the case may be, it's always given us quite a bit of information we could use on our own to kind of guess where things are headed or even, guess why some people are doing certain things. And that has been kind of shown throughout this whole show when it comes down to the backstories, when it comes down to just, learning what these people have gone through in general. Then after that, we get to see, what they're still striving for as, the beings that they are, and if they can be trusted, if they can be, helpful and all this stuff. But as of right now, we just keep seeing that Kane has his claws into this Centaur guy very, very badly when it comes down to him using everything in this fight while Kane just literally sits back, relaxes, and enjoys the show. It's one of those things that kind of give you a feeling of like, if this is how everything's going off, what does the future hold for, this world if they do win this? Like what's actually going to transpire once all of this is over, once you've actually defeated your one enemy who also was one of our heroes on our side, and now he's one of the biggest threats that the world have seen since the beginning of the first war. So now it feels kind of like they wasted a whole bunch of time trying to better themselves, and then next thing you know, the same people that they thought were going to be the end all be all of wars wind up being the reason why more wars are happening in the first place. So it's stuff like that that really kind of brings this story together in a seam of like the the overall grand scale of why these things are happening. Why are these people dying? Like why do these people have to die? And we're kind of seeing that now, right? We're seeing why everybody's doing what they're kind of doing and what for what reasons, and a lot of them aren't really that good. It's like, well, I was a doctor, and while I was a doctor I was trying to save all these people, so then when I got on the battlefield I could really save those people because they didn't have to fight anymore. It's like, okay, but you're going out to kill people to then save the people. Yeah, I'm like, all right, buddy. Yes, you're a doctor. You would know where to attack somebody so they can't get healed nearly as easy. And that kind of seemed like his goal with the spear that he had. The spear that he had going through as much as it goes through, there's no coming back from that, right? Like you're just taking that and you're done. It's over. GG. Goodbye. Um, and that was kind of the crazy part about him in this charge right now is seeing him like enjoying killing and enjoying everything that's coming with all this to then find out that, oh, okay, well, he's not a bad guy if he's on our side. Like if he switched sides and started attacking, people would see him as a good guy, but because he's on the other side, he's not. The other thing that really surprised me this week was the fact that his regeneration is ridiculous. It's almost like he's been infused with another incarnate, like the vampire, to get such regeneration. Because it doesn't make any sense why someone like a Centaur can regenerate that good. When I checked, I don't remember any regeneration power, including. One that looks so similar to the vampire that we've seen get his whole entire top half blown off and it was just his legs left, and he still come out completely fine and regenerate from it. So it's almost as if, like I'm saying, they fused the two together, like he gave him some blood, or maybe he bit him and made him part vampire or something. But if that was the case, he couldn't be out. Well, I don't know. I really don't know what type of vampire Kane is because he's out during the day. Even though he was kind of in the shade and stuff, there's only so much that he didn't do. Like, while these guys were camping out, waiting for part of the war to, get back to kicking off, and they're hiding from the cannons, they were both outside behind the troops, and it was still relatively sunlight, unless that was just a mistake on the animator's part, and they wanted to actually, because the light or the sun did look a little bit dim, like almost the whole entire day had gone, and then next thing you know, they show up. But um, yeah, actually, I don't think we saw the Centaur do much in the daytime, to be fair. So that's my guess that I'm sticking to is somehow he's been mutated with the vampire's ability to heal, and that's probably why we're seeing such a, oh my guess, seeing such a dramatic change to how he can heal, how he can continuously fight. I mean, it looked like he was even getting shot by the god bullets and not losing his transformation unless all the people who are on the incarnate unit doesn't use those bullets, which would be weird. But yeah, that's kind of what they're telling us, right? Is they were all using those bullets, and if they're using those bullets, he should have been. Actually, I guess they're not, because this house will happen with the werewolf guy right in the snow. Like he didn't, he got shot up a crap ton, but he never lost his form. He never untransformed. So I think unfortunately the small soldiers who are getting picked off by arrows this week are actually just using they're actually just using normal bullets or something along those lines for some weird reason, which is never going to hurt these monster of people. But hey, let's leave them out there unprepared. But overall, I truly, truly like where this show is going. I can't wait to see more and what can transpire throughout all this because as of right now, it looks like we're getting the information we needed to know about these incarnates and not only them, but Kane and how far he's willing to go to push his own troops to make them stronger or to just make them a better sacrificial part of his army when it comes down to this guy just charging in literally and that being his downfall. But because he's charging in, because he's doing this, it's almost like Kane also knew that they would use that. Um, for instance, they're going to put in front of them as many obstacles as possible. Then he's going to do whatever our Hank guy knows him to do. And since he does do it, they catch him off guard. Yeah. But because he has some regeneration, that doesn't even matter if he's caught off guard. He keeps doing it. So it doesn't matter what habits he has if you can't take him out regardless of him following said habits. And with this week's episode ending with some people kind of getting in position to be like, okay, well, we're going to now have to send in the big guns, send in everybody we got to destroy, you know, um, what little resistance they have left. We get to see just where this show is going to end up, and it looks like it's going to end up in Hank and Kane battling it out, or this thing ending in a non-finishing moment. Because I think this is a 12 episode series or season, and if it is, then I feel like either they're going to end this thing really abruptly, like, oh, and then Kane and Hank ran their arms through each other and then we blew them up. Like something dumb or something. Or they could just let this thing not end here. We can just see what it would be like for Kane to run this army and stuff, and then run it into the ground by losing and letting all of his troops die, and then him still living. You know, now you just destroyed a whole bunch of humans that believed in an incarnate's dream, and you know, you have really nothing to show for it besides that you can beat humans and maybe uh, an incarnate or two, but once it's all said and done, you you only just killed more humans that were, you know, either saved by the other side, they were saved, or they were, you know, told what to do, and they kind of didn't have a choice because they were already under the arms of people who can't be stopped, you know. So you really just defeated people who were following a blind ambition and kind of just giving the other army what they want in the case of being you know, being out there fighting and following certain rules that is set for you, and you don't even know that the army already knows about it. And then the one thing that does defeat you is the incarnates, you know, like the Centaur coming in. So really interested in seeing if they're going to end this show on this season finale episode, or if we're going to get something in the future. I'm not sure. I don't read mangas and light novels on shows that I'm watching, just so I can actually be surprised if there is another season, or if this is how it truly ends, or something along those lines. Not to mention, I am been watching anime for some time now, and a lot of these things don't correlate with the writing, so to even expect it to do that, is me giving it kind of like high hopes for all the people who do read and, you know, want it to end a certain way, which I understand completely. If I had a show and I wanted it to end a certain way, I would hope it does, you know, and if it doesn't, and people get to see a complete different ending than that's actually been written, that would be weird, right? So we'll see how this all turns out, and I truly hope you guys have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I'm your boy, the Anime G, and I'll definitely talk to you in the next one. Peace.